Alright, so here I am. It's October 16th, and I am taking the tube to go watch Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio at the London BFI Film Festival for 2022. And just the night before, I was able to catch the original Pinocchio, the animated one from the like 1960s, 50s, 70s, the animated original version by Disney. And I just kind of wanted to watch it so I can fill out like my background and kind of be more prepared to kind of critique and get ready for this film. But yeah, my kind of expectations were really high for this film because I was really excited for it. And yeah, let's see what my thoughts were. So I just got out of seeing Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio, and I have to say I really did enjoy it. I was able to see the original Pinocchio last night, right before coming to the screening for the BFI London Film Festival, and yeah, it's definitely a different take than the original, and that's kind of being understood because Disney has that kind of, I guess, like ownership of that version with the fairy and some of the elements there, but. I think his Guillermo del Toro's take here with Pinocchio is a really interesting one, and it's definitely one that fits more of his style. I don't think I could have seen him doing like the type of fairy and like the talking fox and all that kind of Disney-fied nature of the story. But Guillermo del Toro takes his own take on it with kind of centering it on like the war, World War II, with Mussolini and kind of the leaders of Italy, and kind of looking at it through that lens. And I think not it's not more of a grounded take because again, it's of course a talking puppet with Pinocchio, but um, a lot of the characters that were sidelined kind of in the first movie, like with Geppetto and um, I guess just Geppetto, but Geppetto's brought out a lot more. He's fleshed out into an actual character here, and his kind of motivations into why he wants Pinocchio to be a boy kind of makes sense here. And that was something that I kind of had like as a minor tick for the first one. How I mean, he wants a boy, but it doesn't really make sense why he'd want it. But now it kind of it's fleshed out more, and you understand that he had a son before, and he wants to bring that son back. Um, so that I like that aspect. I think Jiminy Cricket, Ewan McGregor was kind of sidelined in place of uh, Geppetto being brought out more, and that's kind of a shame. He was more of just like the funny character for the children to laugh at. But yeah, the film was really enjoyable. The audience was laughing at a few parts, and there's definitely a lot of like silent moments. It was a packed theater, so we got the whole experience there. But yeah, it's a really enjoyable film. Towards the end, where I think it's kind of got a little more somber, um, the audience were kind of a little bit more silent, a little more teary-eyed. I could hear some sniffles in the crowd, but it's definitely his take on it. I've seen Nightmare Alley, and I got to see a screening with him, and he was there answering questions, and I got to meet him, the director. And I've seen, oh God, one of his first films, The Devil's Backbone. I saw that in high school. I've seen Hellboy. I haven't seen all of his films like Pan's Labyrinth and some of his other known films. I've seen Shape of Water, but I feel like Every time I see one of his films, it makes me really want to go into his catalog, kind of learn more about him as a director and see more of his films because he's had such a interesting lens he looks through the world with. But yeah, this is definitely better than some of the other sequels or the different interpretations of Pinocchio we've had in recent years, like with the Robert Zemeckis version that just came out, and the kind of one that was knocked a little bit with the memes. But yeah, this is definitely the better take. I'd say it's even better than the original. Just the way that the kind of not politics that are inserted, but more of like the reality of the world that we can understand today, and kind of how our stories are told today. It makes it a better story in that sense. But yeah, I really enjoyed this film. I highly suggest you go see it when it comes out in theaters on Netflix, or in theaters or on Netflix. But yeah, amazing film. Yeah. All right, so I just got back from kind of today, and one thing that I forgot to mention in the actual review that I kind of gave was just I guess the stop motion format, which is kind of what the whole movie is. Like kind of I guess the point of it is. So there's a stop motion format that I forgot to mention that I wanted to bring up, and the music nature, which I thought was amazing. I guess just diving into the music first. All of his films I think have a really distinct kind of way he assembles the score, and it's such like it creates such like a mystique, and kind of like it immediately sets the mood for, like, once you hear those first two notes in the beginning of the film, you kind of know like what direction the film's gonna take. It's that like sense of like wonder and kind of um, like curiosity, and then hints of more like depth and a lot more, I guess not harshness, but a lot more complexity. And it's just the way he does it with the score that it's so amazing. And I can listen to any score and I can identify it's like a Guillermo del Toro score. And he does it again here. He uses like his certain instruments that you just know it's his score. It's making me smile so much because of how amazing the score is. But yeah, the score was amazing, and also I want to talk about the stop motion. I was reading an interview right when I walked out of the screening, and it was talking about how why he kind of chose stop motion. I didn't get the chance to read it, but it's it's amazing to always see when a creator or when a director shifts from like their traditional storytelling aspect of live action and then stop motion, or into like hand drawn, or into like hand drawn or more not live action basically. And he like he transitions to stop motion so well. His like artistic style just matches really well in the stop motion format. And I myself being a huge fan of stop motion, I used to do stop motion when I was a kid, like Legos and all that jazz. So it's really cool to see him approaching stop motion here and kind of seeing his techniques. He does it flawlessly, just adding in. It just feels like he's been doing stop motion all of his life, and I think that's because the assistant director is also. He did Fantastic Mr. Fox and I think a few other stop motion projects, but you can tell just how much they collaborated in their efforts with making the stop motion, and it all just seems so seamless. And it's also visually a striking film too, with the way colors are used, especially in the more when Pinocchio is in kind of like the afterlife and he's talking to one of the kind of goddesses. That's really done well, and really just everything is really done well. Even some of the more elements that you wouldn't expect to be done like fantastically for stop motion, like maybe some of the kind of like compound concentration areas that are coming later. That's really done well, especially some of the combat that's done. But yeah, such an amazing film. Um, Definitely probably the top of my list this year. I really want to watch this film again, but I can't because it's not going to be on Netflix until end of the year. But yeah, I really suggest any chance you get to go out and watch this film, especially if you're a fan of the director. You really appreciate the efforts that he went to here to make his own version of Pinocchio. So yeah, that's all I got. Also, just one more thing I have to add. I wanted to thank, I guess, I don't think they'll see it, but I wanted to thank the BFI Film Festival for opening kind of the doors for, I guess, the general audience. This is my first film festival, so it was my first time experiencing kind of like an exclusive access at films, and it was, I guess, it was really done, really put together well. It was really put together well. It felt like a really welcoming environment, and the audience was really respectful of the film. Everybody clapped, and it was just a really cool experience. So I wanted to thank the BFI Film Festival for kind of opening the doors for everybody to kind of come and see, and just for the general audience to be able to see these amazing films, not just be exclusive access. So, yeah, I guess that's finally all I got for this.